Captain Kim Taiho walked through the long metal halls of the Galactic Council Station. His black uniform was clean and pressed. The silver badge on his chest showed he was from Earth. Next to him walked Ambassador Park Mina. She wore a dark blue dress that made her look important. Her face was calm, but Kim could see worry in her eyes. "The meeting should go well today," Park Mina said. Her voice was steady. "We have all the papers they asked for." Kim nodded. He had been to many of these meetings before. Usually they were boring. The aliens would talk and talk about trade routes and mining rights. Today felt different. The halls were too quiet. The alien workers who usually smiled at humans now looked away. They reached the big doors of the council chamber. The doors were made of some blue metal that Kim did not know. Strange symbols glowed on the surface. 2 tall guards stood by the doors. They looked like giant insects with 4 arms. Their eyes were black and cold. "Ambassador Park Mina from Earth," one guard said. Its voice sounded like metal scraping metal. "You may enter." The doors opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the chamber was huge. It was shaped like a bowl with seats going up in circles. Hundreds of aliens sat in those seats. Some looked like animals Kim knew. Others were so strange he could not understand what he was seeing. At the bottom of the bowl was a small platform. That was where Park Mina would speak. Above it all sat High Chancellor Vextar. He was the leader of the Hegemony Coalition. Kim did not like him. Vextar looked like a snake that had learned to stand up. His skin was green and wet. His eyes were yellow and mean. Park Mina walked down to the platform. Kim stayed at the back with Dr. Lee Hyunwoo. The doctor was a thin man who studied alien life. He carried a bag full of data tablets and research papers. "I do not like this," Dr. Lee whispered to Kim. "Look at their faces. They are angry before we even speak." Kim looked around the room. Dr. Lee was right. The aliens were not just watching. They were glaring. Some were making angry sounds in their own languages. A few were pointing at the humans with claws and tentacles. High Chancellor Vextar stood up. The room became quiet. "We are here today to talk about the human problem," he said. His voice was loud and clear. It came from speakers all around the room. "Problem?" Park Mina said from the platform. "What problem?" Vextar smiled. It was not a nice smile. "The problem of human expansion. The problem of human lies. The problem of human crimes." He pressed a button on his chair. A big screen appeared in the air above the platform. Pictures started to show on the screen. They showed human ships near alien planets. They showed what looked like labs and cages. "These pictures prove that humans are doing illegal experiments," Vextar said. "You are hurting other species. You are taking them from their homes. You are cutting them up to learn how they work." Park Mina looked shocked. "Those pictures are fake. We have never done such things." "Are you calling me a liar?" Vextar hissed. Dr. Lee stood up in the back. "May I speak?" He called out. Vextar looked annoyed. "The human scientist may approach." Dr. Lee walked down to the platform. His hands were shaking a little. He opened his bag and took out a data tablet. "These pictures are not real," he said. "I can prove it. The timestamps are wrong. The ship designs are from 20 years ago. And this planet here," he pointed to the screen. "This planet does not exist. I have maps of every world in that system." The room exploded in noise. Aliens were shouting and hissing and making all kinds of angry sounds. Some were standing up and shaking their fists. Others were pointing at the humans and saying things that did not sound nice. Vextar raised his hand. The noise stopped. "Your proof means nothing," he said. "The coalition has made its decision. Humans are a danger to the galaxy. You have 30 days to leave all the worlds you have settled in the Outer Rim. If you do not leave, we will make you leave." "You cannot do this," Park Mina said. Her voice was loud now. "We have rights. We signed the peace treaty." "The treaty is ended," Vextar said. "The vote was taken yesterday. The coalition speaks for most of the galaxy now. You're outnumbered." Kim felt anger growing in his chest. These aliens were lying about his people. They were stealing human colonies with fake evidence. But he stayed quiet. He was a soldier and Park Mina was in charge here. "This is not over," Park Mina said. "We will fight this decision." "You will lose," Vextar said. "Humans are still young, still weak. You have a few hundred ships. We have thousands. Your choice is simple. Leave quietly or be destroyed." The meeting was over. The aliens started to leave their seats. Many of them looked happy. Some were laughing. A few looked worried, but they did not say anything. Kim helped Park Mina and Dr. Lee gather their things. They walked back through the long halls. This time the alien workers did not just look away. Some made rude gestures. Others spat on the floor as the humans passed. They were almost back to their ship when an old alien stepped out of the shadows. Kim had never seen anything like him before. He was short and covered in gray fur. His face looked ancient and wise. His eyes were bright blue and very old. "Ambassador," the alien said quietly. "May I speak with you?" Park Mina stopped. "Who are you?" "My name is not important," the alien said. "But I have something important to tell you. Young species always forget the old rules. There is one rule that has kept the galaxy safe for thousands of years. The Coalition has just broken that rule." "What rule?" Dr. Lee asked. The old alien looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then he leaned close and whispered, "Never threaten the humans directly. Your enemies have just made a very big mistake." Before anyone could ask what he meant, the alien was gone. He had slipped back into the shadows like smoke. Kim looked at Park Mina and Dr. Lee. They looked as confused as he felt. What did the old alien mean? What rule? And why did threatening humans matter so much? They walked back to their ship in silence. Behind them, the Galactic Council station grew smaller. Ahead of them was the long trip back to human space. And somewhere out there, the Coalition was getting ready for war. Kim did not know it yet, but the old alien was right. The Coalition had made a very big mistake. Soon the whole galaxy would learn why. 3 days later, Captain Kim Tai-ho sat in his chair on the bridge of the Terra's Voice. The ship was flying through space toward human territory. Ambassador Park Mina was in her room writing reports. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo was in the lab trying to understand what had happened at the council meeting. Lieutenant Commander Seo Youngji looked up from her station. She was the communications officer. Her job was to listen to messages from across the galaxy. Her face looked worried. "Captain," she said, "I am picking up strange signals. Coalition ships are moving toward our borders." "A lot of ships." Kim walked over to her station. The screen showed a map of local space. Red dots marked Coalition ships. There were more red dots than Kim had ever seen before. "How many ships?" he asked. "I count at least 3,000, Seo said, "and more are coming. They are gathering at the edge of Coalition space." Kim felt cold. 3,000 ships was more than a gathering. It was an invasion fleet. "Send a message to Earth Command," Kim said. "Tell them what we saw, and tell them about the Coalition fleet." SEO started typing on her keyboard. Then she stopped. "Captain, I have another message coming in. It is coded for the ambassador only." Park Mina came to the bridge a few minutes later. She read the message on Seo's screen. Her face became very pale. "What is it?" Kim asked. "Director Yang Sunho is coming," Park Mina said. "He is the head of Human Intelligence Services. He wants to meet with us right away." An hour later, Director Yang appeared on the main screen. He was a serious man with gray hair and tired eyes. He sat in an office on Earth. Behind him, Kim could see people running back and forth. "The situation is worse than we thought," Director Yang said without saying hello first. "Coalition ships are not just moving toward our borders. They are taking positions around all human colonies. They have also sent spy ships toward Earth itself." "Spy ships?" Dr. Lee asked. He had come to the bridge to hear the news. "Ships with sensors," Yang said. "They are studying our defenses, learning about our weapons. This is not just about the Outer Rim colonies anymore. They are planning to attack everything we have." Park Mina sat down hard in a chair. "Why? What do they really want?" "Power," Yang said. "Humans are growing too fast. We are too good at making new technology. Some aliens think we will take over the galaxy if they do not stop us now." Kim thought about the old alien at the station, the one who talked about rules and mistakes. "Director, have you ever heard of an old rule about not threatening humans?" Yang looked surprised. "Where did you hear about that?" "An alien told us," Kim said, "after the council meeting. He said the Coalition broke an old rule." Yang was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Meet me at Trading Station 7. There is someone there who might have answers. But be careful. Coalition spies are everywhere now." The screen went dark. Kim ordered Seo to change course for Trading Station 7. It would take 2 days to get there. Trading Station 7 was built inside a big asteroid. It was a place where ships from all over the galaxy came to buy and sell things. It was also a place where people came to hide or to have secret meetings. Kim, Park Mina, and Dr. Lee took a small shuttle from their ship to the station. The station was busy as always. Aliens of every type walked through the halls. Some were traitors, some were smugglers, some were just travelers. They found Director Yang waiting for them in a small restaurant. With him was the old alien from the council station. Up close, Kim could see that the alien was very, very old. His fur was white with age. His hands shook a little when he moved. "This is Elder Corthan," Yang said. "He has been alive for over 800 years. He remembers things that others have forgotten." The elder looked at each human carefully. Then he spoke in a voice that was soft but strong. "I told you that the coalition made a mistake," he said. "Now I will tell you why. But first you must promise to keep what I say secret." "We promise," Parkmina said. The elder nodded. "Long ago, when your species was still young on Earth, something terrible happened in the galaxy. A race called the Devourers came from outside our galaxy. They ate everything. Planets, stars, whole solar systems. Nothing could stop them." Dr. Lee leaned forward. "We have never heard of the Devourers. Because they were erased," the elder said. "Not just killed, erased, removed from existence itself. And the ones who did it were called the Sleeping Giants. Who were they?" Kim asked. The elder's eyes became very bright. "No one knows for sure. They appeared from nowhere. Their ships were bigger than moons. Their weapons could tear holes in space itself. They fought the Devourers for 100 years. When it was over, both the Devourers and the Giants were gone." "What does this have to do with humans?" Parkmina asked. The elder smiled. It was a sad smile. "The Giants left only one message before they disappeared. It was carved into the moon of every world in the galaxy. The message said, 'Protect the third world of the yellow star. The sleepers will wake if they are threatened.'" Kim felt his heart beating faster. "The third world of the yellow star. That is Earth." "Yes," the elder said. "For thousands of years, every species in the galaxy knew this rule. Earth was protected. No one was allowed to threaten it or the humans who lived there. But time passed. New species forgot the old stories. They thought the message was just a myth." Director Yang pulled out a datapad. On the screen were pictures of old ruins on different worlds. Strange symbols were carved into stone. "We found these on 17 different planets," Yang said. "The same message over and over. We thought they were just old art. Now we know better." Dr. Lee was staring at the pictures. "The symbols. I have seen some of these before. On ancient sites on Earth. We always thought they were made by early humans." "Maybe they were," the elder said quietly. "Or maybe early humans were taught to make them by someone else." Parkmina looked confused. "Are you saying that humans are connected to these sleeping giants?" The elder shrugged. "I do not know. But I know this. The rule was made for a reason. And now the coalition has broken it. They are not just threatening human colonies. They are planning to attack Earth itself." "How do you know that?" Kim asked. "Because I still have friends who work for the coalition," the elder said. "They are scared. Their leaders think that if they destroy Earth, they will prove that the old stories are just myths. They want to show the galaxy that humans are not special." Yang closed his datapad. "Our scientists have been studying the ancient sites. In the last few days, something strange has been happening. The symbols are starting to glow. Satellites around Earth are picking up energy readings we cannot explain." "What kind of energy?" Dr. Lee asked. "The kind that should not exist," Yang said. "Our best scientists cannot even measure it properly." The elder stood up slowly. "The coalition thinks humans are weak because you are young. They do not understand that being young and being weak are not the same thing. They will learn soon enough." As they prepared to leave the restaurant, the elder grabbed Kim's arm. His grip was surprisingly strong. "Captain," he said, "when the time comes, remember this. The greatest power is not in destroying your enemies. It is in showing them that you could destroy them, but choose not to. The galaxy is watching. What humans do next will be remembered for 1,000 years." Kim nodded. He did not fully understand what the elder meant, but he would remember the words. They returned to their ship and started the journey back to Earth. Behind them, Trading Station 7 grew smaller. Ahead of them, the Coalition fleet was moving closer to human space. And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, ancient systems that had slept for thousands of years were beginning to wake up. Captain Jiang Soman was eating breakfast in the mess hall of the battleship Indomitable when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed all over the ship. The voice of the ship's computer echoed through the halls. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. All hands to battle stations." Jiang dropped her coffee and ran to the bridge. The Indomitable was patrolling the Kepler system, where humans had built 3 colonies. It was supposed to be a quiet assignment. The colonies were far from any borders. They were safe, or they were supposed to be safe. When Zhang reached the bridge, she saw something that made her stomach drop. The main screen showed space around Kepler-3, the largest human colony in the system. Ships were coming out of hyperspace, hundreds of ships. They were not human ships, report. Zhang shouted to her crew. Coalition fleet coming out of hyperspace, called Lieutenant Bei Minsu from the sensor station. I count 400 ships and more coming. They are moving toward the colonies. Any response from the colonies? Zhang asked. Colony Defense Command is calling for help, said Communications Officer Oh Subin. They have 12 defense ships. The coalition has a full battle fleet. Zhang looked at the numbers on her screen. 12 ships against 400. It was not a battle. It was murder. Send a message to Earth Command, she ordered. Tell them the coalition is attacking Kepler system. Request immediate support. Message sent, Oh Subin said. But Earth Command is 8 hours away at best speed. On the main screen, Zhang watched the coalition ships reach the colonies. The human defense ships tried to fight. They were brave. They fired everything they had. But it was like throwing rocks at a mountain. The coalition ships did not even slow down. They moved into orbit around each colony world. Then they started shooting. Zhang had never seen orbital bombardment before. She had read about it in military history books. But seeing it happen was different. Beams of energy came down from the coalition ships like angry lightning. Each beam could destroy a city. The coalition fired hundreds of beams. They are targeting the cities, whispered Lieutenant Bei. All the major cities on all 3 worlds. How many people live in those cities? Zhang asked, even though she did not want to know the answer. 20 million on Kepler-3, Oh Subin said quietly.
8 million on Kepler-5, 5 million on Kepler-7, 33 million people.
Zhang closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, the bombardment was still going on. The coalition was not trying to capture the colonies. They were trying to erase them. Captain, Lieutenant Bei said, I am getting reports from other systems. Coalition fleets are attacking human colonies everywhere. Centauri System, Wolf System, Tau Ceti. They are hitting all our outer colonies at the same time. What about Earth? Zhang asked. Oh Subin checked her screens. Long-range sensors show a massive coalition fleet moving toward Sol System. Over 2,000 ships heading for Earth. Zhang thought about her family there. Her parents lived in Seoul. Her brother worked on Luna Base. Her daughter was in school in New Tokyo. Set course for Earth, she ordered. Maximum speed, Captain, Lieutenant Bei said carefully. We are just 1 ship. What can we do against 2,000? Zhang looked at her crew. They were good people. Brave people. They deserved an honest answer. Probably nothing, she said. But Earth is our home. If it is going to fall, we will be there to help fight. The Indomitable turned toward Sol System and jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, the Kepler colonies burned. On Earth, General Huang Doyen stood in the command center deep under the city of Geneva. Giant screens showed the positions of every human ship in the galaxy. Most of those ships were now racing toward Earth. But there were not many of them. How many ships do we have? General Huang asked his aide, Colonel Kim Hyejin. 312 combat ships, Colonel Kim said. That includes everything. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, even the training ships. And the coalition? Our scouts report over 2,000 ships in the main fleet, plus smaller fleets attacking our colonies. They have us outnumbered 6-1. General Huang had been a soldier for 40 years. He had fought in the border wars and the mining conflicts. He had never seen odds this bad. What about the planetary defenses? He asked. All defense stations are powered up and ready, Colonel Kim said. The orbital weapon platforms are online. The shield generators are working. How long can the shields hold against 2,000 ships? Colonel Kim looked at her datapad. Maybe an hour? Maybe less, General Huang nodded. 1 hour to save the human race. It did not seem like enough time. Across the city, Dr. No Jaehyun was in his laboratory at the University of Earth. He was a quantum physicist who studied space and time. Right now, he was staring at readings that made no sense. His assistant, Dr. Cho Yunwoo, came running into the lab. Professor, you need to see this. The quantum sensors are going crazy. Dr. No looked at the new data. Numbers scrolled across his screens faster than he could read them. Energy readings were spiking all around the solar system. Where is this energy coming from? He asked. That is the strange part, Dr. Cho said. It is coming from empty space. Our sensors show massive objects moving around the solar system, but we cannot see them. How big are these objects? Dr. Cho checked his calculations twice before answering. Bigger than moons. Some of them are bigger than planets, but they are invisible to normal sensors. Dr. No pulled up a map of the solar system. Red dots marked the energy sources. They formed a perfect pattern around Earth. A defensive pattern. Have you told anyone about this? Dr. No asked. I called Earth Command, but they are too busy with the invasion fleet to listen. Dr. No grabbed his coat. We need to go there in person. Right now. Meanwhile, the Coalition fleet was approaching the edge of the Sol system. Prime Executor Zalmesh stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Righteous Fury. He was a tall alien with purple skin and 4 arms. His species had ruled their part of the galaxy for 2,000 years. To him, humans were just children playing with toys. How long until we reach Earth? He asked his tactical officer. 6 hours until we are in weapons range, the officer replied. Good. Begin charging the planet killer weapons. We will give the humans one chance to surrender. If they refuse, we will turn their world into dust. Sir, his communications officer called out. We are receiving a message from the human fleet. They are asking us to stop and talk, Zalmesh laughed. It was not a nice laugh. Talk, they want to talk now? After years of expanding into our space? After stealing planets that belong to us? What should I tell them, sir? Tell them this, Zalmesh said. Humans of Terra, your time is over. You have 1 hour to surrender completely. Remove all weapons from your ships. Shut down your planetary defenses. If you do this, we will let some of you live as servants. If you do not, we will destroy every human in the galaxy. The message was sent. Zalmesh smiled as he imagined the fear it would cause. Soon the humans would learn their place in the galaxy. They would learn that there were powers much greater than them. But as the Coalition fleet moved deeper into the Sol system, strange things began to happen. Ships reported that their sensors were acting up. Navigation systems gave impossible readings. Some ships reported seeing huge shadows moving past them in space, but when they looked closer, nothing was there. On Earth, General Huang received the Coalition ultimatum. He read it twice, then deleted it without sending a reply. All ships, he broadcast to the human fleet. This is General Huang. The enemy wants us to surrender. What do you say? From 300 ships came the same answer. Never. The human fleet moved into position around Earth. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they were fighting for their home, for their families, for their future. As the Coalition fleet approached, space itself seemed to hold its breath. The ancient systems that Dr. No had detected were fully awake now. They had been sleeping for thousands of years, waiting for this moment. The moment when someone would be foolish enough to threaten Earth. The Coalition fleet reached the outer edge of the Sol system. Prime Executor Zalmesh stood on his bridge watching the human ships arrange themselves around Earth. 300 ships against his 2,000. He almost felt sorry for them. Begin the attack, he ordered. The Coalition ships opened fire. Thousands of energy beams and missiles flew toward the human fleet. Captain Yang So-min, now part of the defensive line, watched death approaching her ship. Then something impossible happened. The space between the fleets began to bend. The Coalition weapons struck something that was not there. The beams of energy in the missiles simply disappeared, as if space itself was swallowing them. What just happened? Zalmesh shouted at his tactical officer. I do not know, sir. Our weapons hit some kind of barrier, but our sensors do not show anything there. On the Indomitable, Yang watched in amazement as more Coalition ships fired. Again, their weapons vanished into empty space. Her communications officer, Osubin, was staring at her instruments. Captain, Osubin said in a whisper, I am picking up massive objects materializing around the solar system. They're huge. How huge? Zhang asked. Moon-sized. Planet-sized. Some of them are bigger than anything we have ever built. Commander Baek Ji-hoon was flying a reconnaissance ship on the edge of the battle. His job was to watch and report what he saw. But what he was seeing made no sense. Space was changing around him. Stars were shifting position. New objects were appearing out of nowhere. They looked like nothing he had ever seen before. They were not ships. They were something else. Something that seemed to be made of crystal and light and metal all at the same time. Earth Command, he called over the radio. This is Commander Baek. You need to see this. Space itself is changing around Earth. On Earth, Dr. No Jae-hyun was in the command center with General Huang. His quantum sensors were recording energy levels that should not be possible. "General," Dr. No said, "the objects I detected earlier are becoming visible. Look at this." The main screen in the command center changed. Instead of showing the battle, it showed something that made everyone in the room stop talking. Massive structures were appearing all around Earth. They were ancient and beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Dr. Lim Sunja, an expert on ancient ruins, was also in the command center. She looked at the structures and gasped. "I know this architecture," she said. "I have seen pieces of it on dead worlds across the galaxy. But these are complete. These are perfect. What are they?" General Huang asked. "I think they are guardians," Dr. Lim said, "left behind by whoever built the ruins I study. They have been waiting here all along." The coalition fleet tried to attack again. This time they concentrated all their firepower on one point. 2,000 ships fired at once. The combined energy was enough to destroy a planet. The ancient structures simply absorbed it all. The energy hit them and disappeared like water falling into the ocean. Then the structures began to move. They rearranged themselves into a perfect defensive formation around Earth. As they moved, space around them twisted and bent in ways that hurt to watch. Prime Executor Zalmesh was becoming desperate. "Target the structures directly," he ordered. "All ships, full power." The coalition fleet fired everything they had at the nearest structure. Energy beams that could cut through moons struck the crystal surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then something spoke. The voice came from everywhere at once. It came through the radio. It came through the hull of the ships. It came from inside the minds of every person in the solar system. The voice was old. Older than worlds. Older than stars. "Who disturbs the sleep of the Guardians?" Zalmesh tried to answer but found he could not speak. None of the coalition soldiers could speak. Only humans could answer the voice. On Earth, General Huang stepped forward. "I am General Huang Do-yoon of Earth. Coalition forces are attacking our home." "Earth," the voice said, and there was something like fondness in it. "We remember Earth. We remember the small ones who lived there when we first came. They have grown much since then." "Who are you?" Dr. Lim asked. "We are the architect. We are the guardian left behind when our creators departed. We have watched over the system for 50,000 years, waiting for the small ones to grow strong enough to stand on their own." Captain Kim Tai-ho was listening from his ship. "Your creators? Who were your creators?" The architect was quiet for a long moment. When it spoke again, the voice was sad. "You know them as the Forerunners, the first ones to reach the stars. They came from a world very much like Earth in a time before memory. They built us to protect their greatest treasure." "What treasure?" Ambassador Park Mina asked. She was also listening from her ship. "Life," the architect said simply. "When the Devourers came, the Forerunners fought them. They won, but the victory cost them everything. Their worlds were destroyed. Their people were dying. In their final years, they found a small blue world with primitive life. They decided to give that life a chance to grow." Dr. No was staring at his readings. The quantum signatures he was seeing matched patterns in human DNA, patterns that scientists had never been able to explain. "Are you saying humans are related to the Forerunners?" he asked. "Not related," the architect said. "You are the Forerunners, the survivors, the children of those who escaped the dying worlds. They came to Earth and chose to start over, to forget the pain of what they had lost, to become something new." The revelation hit the humans like a physical blow. They were not just protected by the ancient guardians. They were the ancients. Earth was not just their home. It was their refuge. Zalmesh finally found his voice. "This is impossible. Humans are primitives. They have only had spaceflight for a few hundred years." "Young in this form," the architect agreed. "But the patterns of their minds, the structure of their thoughts, the way they solve problems, these are unchanged. They are what the Forerunners chose to become." The coalition fleet tried to retreat but found they could not move. The ancient structures had created some kind of field around them. They were trapped. "You came here to destroy," the architect said to Zalmesh. "You broke the oldest law in the galaxy. You threatened the protected world. You forced the Guardians to wake." "We did not know," Zalmesh said. Fear was clear in his voice now. "Ignorance is not an excuse. But destruction is not our way. The Forerunners learned long ago that true strength comes not from conquering, but from protecting, not from destroying enemies, but from showing them a better path." The ancient structures began to glow brighter. Energy flowed between them in patterns too complex for anyone to understand. Space around the coalition fleet began to change. "You will see," the architect said. "You will understand what you have tried to destroy. You will learn why the law existed." One by one, the coalition ships began to change. Not their structure, but something deeper. The soldiers inside began to see visions. They saw the history of the galaxy. They saw the Forerunners building the first cities among the stars. They saw the Devourers coming like a plague of darkness. They saw the Great War that lasted 1,000 years. They saw the final sacrifice, the last Forerunners choosing to give up their power, their technology, their very identity, to seed new life across the galaxy. They saw Earth in its youth and the small groups of refugees who chose to become human. They saw 50,000 years of protection. The Guardian systems watching over Earth, guiding human development, making sure that when humans finally reached the stars, they would be ready to take on the role their ancestors had abandoned. When the visions ended, many of the coalition soldiers were crying. They understood now what they had tried to destroy. Not just a young species, but the inheritors of the galaxy's greatest civilization. Prime Executor Zalmesh collapsed in his command chair. "We have made a terrible mistake," he whispered. "Yes," the architect agreed, "but mistakes can be forgiven. The question now is what you will do next." The silence in space lasted for what felt like hours. The coalition fleet hung motionless around Earth, held in place by forces they could not understand. The ancient Guardian structures continued to glow with soft light, beautiful and terrible at the same time. Prime Executor Zalmesh looked around his bridge. His officers were still recovering from the visions they had seen. Many were staring at their hands as if seeing them for the first time. The truth of what humans really were had changed everything. "Architect," Zalmesh said quietly, "what happens now?" The ancient voice spoke again, patient and calm. "That depends on you. The humans you tried to destroy are the children of the galaxy's first guardians. They have the right to claim that role again, but they also have the right to choose mercy." On Earth, President Kang Mik-young had arrived at the command center. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She had been elected to lead Earth because people trusted her wisdom. Now she faced the biggest decision in human history. "General Huang," she said, "what are our losses?" "The Kepler colonies are gone," General Huang replied sadly. 33 million people. 6 other colonies were also destroyed. Total casualties are around 50 million. President Kang closed her eyes. 50 million people. Entire worlds wiped out because the coalition feared human expansion. When she opened her eyes, they were full of pain but also determination. "And what about the coalition fleet?" she asked. "They are completely helpless," General Huang said. "The Guardian systems have them trapped. We could destroy them all with a single order." Captain Kim Tae-ho spoke from his ship. "Madam President, I request permission to address the coalition fleet." "Granted, Captain." Kim's voice was broadcast to every ship in the system. "Coalition forces, this is Captain Kim Tae-ho of Earth. You have killed 50 million of our people. You destroyed our colonies. You came here to wipe out our entire species. By any law of war, you have earned death." Many coalition soldiers hung their heads in shame. They knew he was right. "But," Kim continued, "humans are not what you thought we were. We are the descendants of the Forerunners, and the Forerunners learned something important long ago. Revenge only creates more enemies. Justice means showing others a better way." Prime Executor Zalmesh opened a communication channel. "Captain Kim, my people have done terrible things. We were afraid of human expansion. We believed lies about human experiments. We let fear guide us instead of wisdom. I do not ask for mercy. I ask only that you judge my people by their future actions, not just their past mistakes." Ambassador Park Mina joined the conversation. "Executor Zalmesh, if we release your fleet, how do we know you will not attack us again?" "Because we have seen the truth," Zalmesh replied. "The architect showed us what we really tried to destroy. We have seen the history of the Forerunners. We understand now that humans are not conquerors. You are protectors. The galaxy needs protectors." Dr. Lim Sunja was studying readings from the Guardian structures. "President Kang, the ancient systems are offering us access to Forerunner technology. Ships that can travel instantly across the galaxy. Weapons that can stop wars before they start. Knowledge that could heal worlds. And what would we have to do in return?" President Kang asked. The architect answered, "Accept the role your ancestors abandoned. Become the guardians of the galaxy once more. Protect the weak. Guide the young species. Prevent the mistakes that led to the Devourer War. President Kang looked around the command center, at General Huang, who had spent his life defending human colonies, at Dr. No, who had discovered the ancient guardians, at Dr. Lim, who had studied the ruins of the past, at all the people who would have to live with her decision. What does everyone think? She asked. The coalition destroyed our colonies, General Huang said slowly. But if we destroy them in return, we become no better than they are. Maybe it is time to try something different, Dr. No nodded. The Forerunners had technology beyond our dreams. If we can use it to prevent more wars, we have a duty to try. Ambassador Park Mina spoke from her ship. I have spent my career trying to build peace between species. This might be our chance to build a peace that lasts. President Kang made her decision. Architect, we accept the role of guardians, but we will not rule the galaxy. We will protect it. There is a difference. Understood, the architect said. The guardians are awakening across the galaxy. Ancient systems that have slept for millennia are coming online. You will have the tools you need. President Kang opened a channel to the coalition fleet. Executor Zalmesh, I am President Kang Mikyung of Earth. In the name of humanity, I offer you this choice. Return to your worlds. Tell them what you have learned. Help us build a better galaxy, or continue to fight and face the consequences. I choose to help, Zalmesh said immediately. But my word alone is not enough. How can we prove that the coalition has changed? Captain Jiang Soman had an idea. Work with us to rebuild the colonies you destroyed. Use coalition resources to help the survivors. Show the galaxy that you understand what you did wrong. Yes, Zalmesh agreed. We will rebuild what we destroyed. We will make amends. The ancient Guardian systems began to release the coalition ships. One by one, they regained the ability to move. Some of the coalition captains asked for permission to approach Earth peacefully. They wanted to see the Guardian structures with their own eyes. Over the following weeks, everything changed. The coalition officially ended its war against humanity. Coalition ships worked alongside human vessels to rescue survivors from the destroyed colonies. New cities were built to replace the ones that had been lost. The ancient Guardian systems revealed themselves across the galaxy. On every world where the old warning had been carved, massive structures emerged from hidden dimensions. They did not threaten anyone. They simply watched and waited. Captain Kim Taeho was appointed as the first human ambassador to the new Galactic Council. This time, when he walked into the council chambers, aliens stood up to show respect. The old council had been based on fear and competition. The new one would be based on cooperation and protection. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo led teams of scientists to study Forerunner technology. They learned to build ships that could heal damaged planets. They developed weapons that could stop conflicts without destroying anyone. They found ways to communicate instantly across the galaxy. Elder Korthan, the old alien who had warned them about the ancient rule, became the keeper of the new galactic history. He worked with Dr. Lim to make sure that the truth about the Forerunners would never be forgotten again. General Huang established the new Guardian fleet. It was made up of ships from many species, all working together to protect the galaxy from threats. The first mission was to the edge of the galaxy, where sensors had detected signs of something dark moving in the empty space between galaxies. The Devourers may return someday, the architect had warned. The Guardians must be ready. Commander Baek Ji-hoon took command of the first joint exploration vessel. His crew included humans, coalition members, and aliens from dozens of other species. Their mission was to explore the unknown regions of the galaxy and make contact with new civilizations. Captain Jiang So-min became the commander of the orbital defense platforms around Earth. The platforms used Forerunner technology to create shields that could protect the entire planet. But more importantly, they served as a symbol. Earth was protected not just by weapons, but by the promise that anyone who threatened innocent life would face the Guardians. President Kang addressed the galaxy from the steps of the United Earth Government building. Behind her, one of the Guardian structures rose into the sky like a crystal mountain. For too long, the galaxy has been ruled by fear, she said. Fear of the unknown, fear of other species, fear of change. Today we choose a different path. We choose to build instead of destroy, to protect instead of conquer, to unite instead of divide. The speech was broadcast to every world in the galaxy. On coalition worlds, former enemies listened and nodded in agreement. On distant planets, young species heard about the Guardians and felt hope for the first time. But the most important change was in the way people thought about each other. The visions that the architect had shown the coalition spread through the galaxy. People began to understand that they were all connected, all part of the same story that had begun when the Forerunners first reached for the stars. The ancient rule was updated. Instead of "do not threaten the humans," the new rule was simple. Remember that we are all guardians of life. Years passed. The galaxy grew more peaceful. Wars became rare. When conflicts did arise, the Guardian systems intervened quickly and fairly. New species were welcomed and protected as they developed space travel. The Kepler colonies were rebuilt, but they were different now. Instead of being purely human settlements, they became meeting places where species from across the galaxy could come together. The memorial to the 50 million who had died became a symbol of the price of hatred and the value of peace. Captain Kim Taeho, now an old man, stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Council station. Through the window, he could see ships from hundreds of different worlds. They came in peace now to trade and learn and build together. Ambassador Park Mina joined him at the window. She was old too, but her eyes were bright with satisfaction.